Welcome to the Ben Mulroney Show, and thank you so much for joining us. All right, one of the saddest stories of the weekend was the flash floods in Texas. Well, by definition, a flash flood comes out of nowhere, and you know they're not commonplace, but they are something that normally can be dealt with by the authorities and by the infrastructure in place. However, the death toll in Central Texas due to these flash floods rose to 78. I think it's now pushed past 80. And they say that there are 10 people from a campers, that remain missing. These are terrible stories, harrowing stories of people being swept away, clinging to trees, rampaging floodwaters, carrying cars past them. Others had to flee into attics. I mean, we're talking about a water level that went up 26 feet, 8 meters in just a matter of hours. And one particular place, a camp called Camp Mystic, was one of the worst hit because all young girls. And there was a cabin full of girls who held onto a rope strung by rescuers as they walked across a bridge with water whipping past their legs. I want you to listen to the sadness in the voice of one little girl talking about her lost friends at Camp Mystic.
I've been scrolling through videos and pictures on my mom's phone.
Really good friends lost a daughter that was at Camp Mystic. They've just had so much loss that, I mean, it's unimaginable. And then, you know, they're still pulling people out of the river, and we don't even know to the extent of who we know that has lost their lives.
My friend Nene was just so funny. I've been scrolling through videos and pictures on my mom's phone and watching it over and over again. Her dancing when she's excited.
Yeah.
She was so nice, and I just miss her so much.
So that's what I want to focus on. There is a conversation right now around who's to blame. And of course, you're going to want to get to the bottom of that. You do a postmortem after an emergency like this to say, where were the failings? Where were the pain points in our system? Where did the system fail us? And of course, there is a type of person that wants to immediately blame Donald Trump. And of course, he has made a number of cuts to the to services that are delivered by the U.S. government. And one of them is to the National Weather Agency. And did those cuts lead to this or not? That is a conversation that will be had. We will be part of it at some point. I think you can have the conversation this early. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally think it's too early. I mean, as I said, they're still pulling people out. There are still people lost. That's where my focus wants to be. And hearing that young girl watching videos of her friends dancing at camp, you know, we were stuck indoors because of COVID for years. My kids missed out on 2 years of summer camp, and my kids are resilient, really resilient. There's not much that gets them down. Whatever circumstances presented to them, they find a way around it or over it. But that second year that summer camp was canceled, that was the first time I actually saw them defeated, and it broke my heart. And my wife and I made a point, we're like, they're getting right back out there as soon as they can. The next year they're going to camp, and they love camp. Last year, my sons went on a 23-day canoe trip. No phones, no nothing. And they loved it. And for two kids who, all things being equal, they're going to be in front of their computer when they're home, the fact that they responded so positively to being out in nature and pushing their own limits and exploring, those are the things that they remember. I remember those things from when I was a kid. Proud to put my kids out there. My daughter is going back this year. She is so excited. And so I look down here. Yes, it's Texas, but it's also parents sending their kids to camp. And those memories that are made at camp. And this is where kids This is where kids' sense of adventure is satiated. This is where their sense of adventure is quenched. And it is so very sad. So very sad. My heart breaks for every parent whose kids were at that camp, whose kids are not coming home. You know, yes, we send our kids out there and we trust that the camp is going to take care of them. And then when Mother Nature comes and does something like this, I mean, the parents' only crime was sending their kids to camp. And you know that right before that happened, these girls were probably singing by a campfire, doing a play, doing a dance recital, on horseback, I don't know, learning survival skills. And then this happened, and everyone's lives are changed forever. So there will be a time, there will absolutely be a time to discuss who is to blame. But for me, that's not today. That's not today. I want to spend just today letting the families out there who lost a daughter, whose only crime was she wanted to be outdoors, I want to say I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to move on to happier things, the Middle East. And I say that as a way to just turn the page. So we know that the Prime Minister of Israel is in Washington in the hopes of securing another ceasefire. You'll remember that last week there was a big ceasefire deal on the table that Hamas rejected. Hamas rejected it. That is an important point. When you hear our streets of Canada taken over by people saying ceasefire now, ceasefire now. Okay, go tell your friends at Hamas. Anyway, the point is Hamas wants assurances that the fighting will end if there's a temporary end to fighting, and Israel is saying no. We will get off of a war footing when you stop, when we are no longer in a state of war. And so Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are meeting right now in the hopes of coming to a consensus that will then be palatable to Hamas. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I do want to make that point again. There was a ceasefire on the table last week. It was agreed to by Egypt, by, I think, Saudi, by Qatar, by the United States, and by Israel. And who rejected it? Hamas. So just remember that the next time you hear somebody wearing a keffiyeh, cosplaying as a resistance fighter demanding a ceasefire. Just remember that. On the other side, another one of Israel's enemies, Hezbollah, has said that they are not going to disarm fully, even though there's a truce right now, until Israel withdraws from southern Lebanon. And Israel is saying, we're not leaving southern Lebanon for now because we need a buffer zone between our country and you because you keep lobbing rockets at us. And so until you disarm, the people on our side of the border are not safe. And so it's a chicken or egg sort of situation. But all things being equal, if Hezbollah doesn't want to put down their arms, you know Israel's going to find a way to get them. Over the weekend, we saw an explosion that Israel launched on Hezbollah where they destroyed a cache of, 3,000 of their rockets. They were able to get to these people with beepers, with drones. You want to hold on to your weapons, Hezbollah? You go right ahead. Israel will find them. And if you happen to be holding them when they explode, that's on you. But if you are on a war footing with Israel and Israel comes at you, you know, as sure as I'm sitting here, that they will find you and they will beat you. And you F around, you're going to find out. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.